Hey everybody, welcome back to a new week of Excel 10-Minute Leaders Live. 10 minutes into the lives and journeys of leaders in different parts of society, technology, and business. My name's Graham Brown, joined all the way from the US today by Malcolm Teasdale, who's going to show us an insight into his world and adventures and travels. Malcolm, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Graham. Very nice to be here.
Is it true you've traveled to 98 countries?
Yeah, it is. You're probably thinking I need counseling, but that is true.
Okay. Well, 98 is quite a lot. I think the average person in the world's been to about 3, haven't they? So I think you're in the top 1%. Before we get started, I want to ask you, as a fellow traveler myself, the highlight of those 98, which one is the least expected to be a highlight, but actually was a highlight for you?
The least expected to be a highlight. Well, I've never been asked that before. Probably either Argentina or Russia. I had a surprisingly good time in those two. I've always loved Asia, but those two actually were quite enjoyable, better than I thought they would be.
Excellent. Argentina and Russia. I haven't been to those. Did you dance the tango?
No. No. I always said,
you drank some vodka.
If I go back there, I'd try it, But the locals did take me to a local football game, soccer game, which that was a bit edgy, but it was a cultural thing to do.
That's what you need to do when you go to these places. All right then, Malcolm, we've got 10 minutes together. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do this then. Okay, the formalities. What does it say on your business card?
It's right in front of me here, just in case I forgot. Just joking, of course. It says adventurer, author, and enrichment speaker.
No, I like that. Those are the kind of business cards that I like to receive. Let's start with the adventurer part. In what are you adventuring?
Well, I used to have a software development company, which I started in the 1990s, and we grew it sort of locally in North America, but we went international, and we became, not deliberately, a target for acquisition. And eventually, we sold the business in 2013. Now, I always used to travel a lot for business because that was my quest to do business overseas. We had a product that would function overseas quite well. So when we got acquired, it was like early retirement for me. And, I rested at home. I didn't do anything, but I got bored. But I had to do something. I write books as well about travel, business travel. But I started to get the urge to travel to the more adventurous places on the planet, which I never really did in those days of business travel. So I got a taste of it. A bit more obscure places, and that's really what I've been doing ever since 2020, aside, of course. But yeah, I basically traveled to places which most people would not consider. That's a nice way of putting it.
Love it. What do most people not consider as a place to travel to that you've been to?
Well, if I said I trekked the Himalayas, it's probably not something that's top of everyone's bucket list. Or I went to Myanmar. It's been a troubled society on and off for years, and so people ask me the question, why on earth do you want to go there? Because I like mixing with cultures. It's a big learning experience for me. And I went to the country of Bhutan, and most people said, what's Bhutan? I said, well, it's actually a country, and I had a quest to climb up to Tiger's Nest Monastery, which is high up on a rock face, and do stuff like that. So those types of things, I really wanted to do more adventurous stuff. The problem is, though, Graham, the more I do this, the more I want to do it.
It's endless. Well, 98. How many countries are in the world? There's 200 odd, right? So you're halfway there, country-wise.
I'm not going to make it. I know. It's just it's one of those things. Depends if you include autonomous countries or territories and that stuff. It doesn't matter. It's just I just sat down a few years ago and started to add them up, and it was 98. However, because I do quite a bit of lecturing on cruise ships now to passengers, just talk about places around the world and foreign cultures, then that's given me a few extra places to add to my list, although I don't really count them really unless I've been on in that country for more than 24 hours, so to speak. Cruise ships are a little bit different because you get off and you go in the touristy area and then you get back on the ship. So I don't really count them. So that would probably take about half a dozen off my list there.
Okay, so as an adventurer, one question I want to ask you is about getting out of your comfort zone. I'm sure you've done that a few times. When was the last time you did something that scared you, Malcolm?
The last time it's actually occurred because I mentioned when I do a bit of scuba diving, and I was one of the best places to dive in the world. There's a couple of them in Asia, but there's a place called Sipadan. It's a national park, marine park of Malaysia, but it's protected. It's an island just south of the region of Borneo, which is owned by Malaysia. So it's very difficult to get to, and it's very remote. So I went diving out there, and you have to get permission to dive there quite a few months in advance. So I was diving, and my regulator hose broke at 60 feet underwater.
Wow.
Yeah, so that wasn't good. But because you never dive, if you never dive on your own. Obviously, if you dive on, if I was by myself, I wouldn't be here now. But so you just go over to the dive buddy and say, oh, "I need to share your oxygen." But obviously, that's one of the things that I wasn't aware that was going to happen. There's certain places I've been to that said, yeah, it's a bit sort of troublesome here, so I've got to be careful what I do. Those types. So there's two different things there.
Do people who know you well think you're nuts? A little bit?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You don't mind?
Nah.
You enjoy that moniker?
I don't know if that's. To be honest with you, at my age, it doesn't really bother me anymore.
That's the beauty of age, though, right? You don't care what other people think about you. You're just living your life and enjoying it.
Yeah, I've told them I'll probably die on the job, so to speak. It's all right.
With a smile. What's your superpower then? I'm curious, as an entrepreneur who's had a very good track record and a traveler and somebody who likes to put himself out there, challenged, whether it's in the Himalayas or 60 feet underwater. What is your superpower? What is the real DNA of Malcolm here, and how has it enabled you to be successful in business?
Well, I did, of course, sell the business in 2013 to a large corporation, by the way. But what I think helped, there's myself and a partner, actually, and we grew the company. By the time we sold, we had 150 people, and we had offices in 4 countries. Okay, so it grew, and we had a lot of intellectual property as well. But probably what helped us greatly, because we started this business in North America, and we grew it in North America, and I wouldn't say we got a foothold, but we were comfortable. And I think that was a time where we said, we need to look more in the international market. So this is where we ventured into lands sort of unknown and started off with South America because it's a similar time zone, then into Europe. Then I moved to Singapore so I could do business in Southeast Asia and Australia. But I think what helped us, having traveled so much in my life, I knew that if I was going to do business in a foreign land, I had to learn about a country's culture. So if I was going Singapore, for example, or Thailand or Japan, I took my time to learn about the culture of that country, a little bit about the history as well. So I'd go over there and say, yeah, I went to see one of your historic buildings, and I was interested in reading the history about it. They liked that, wherever it would be. And it's because I did my research and I learned about the culture, they knew I had an interest in their country. I wasn't there just to go, hey, I got a product. Do you want to buy it or sell it? It wasn't that. That would never have worked. So I took the time to learn the culture, the business culture, and a little bit about the history and geography of a place. And that helped a great deal. And so we picked up a lot of foreign clients. In the end of the day, we sold product into 80 countries worldwide.
Wow. And it starts with showing that you care. And you care by the fact that you're not here to sell, you're here to learn and to build a relationship. And that goes down very well in countries, right?
Yeah, it does actually. And, countries that I've been to, they're not going to do business with you unless they trust you and also they feel like your friend, your friends. And that's really important. So I got that inclination quite early on, and I just kept on top of it. And it seemed to be a formula that actually worked for us, which is probably a good thing. So.
Yeah, it works for everybody, I feel. There are strong parallels as well that I've found in my own experience between entrepreneurship and travel. That you can travel through life or be a tourist. You can be an entrepreneur or you can be a salaried employee in life. And there are many parallels, aren't there? Travel
Oh,
is,
there is.
you know,
Absolutely. And this is why I do it today, because everywhere I go is a learning experience. Yeah, I went to the Himalayas, but I just hung out in mountain villages and mixed with the people, learn about the way they lived. To most people, we wouldn't live there. They're 10,000 up in the mountains in the Himalayas. The children go to school in school clothes, school uniform each day. But you know what? They're sort of happy. That's what they want in life. And I admire that. So that's just an example.
We're only just scratching the surface, but we're out of time, Malcolm. I feel like 98 travels, 98 countries, 98 stories. There's a lot more to learn about you. Where do we go if we want to find out more about you?
The best place to go to, which sends paths off everywhere else, is just my website, malcolmjteasdale.com. So Malcolm, MalcolmJteasdale.com. And on there, there's information about places I've been to, personal opinions, candid opinions, information about books. It's all about travel. So it's factual, bit of humorous. Yes, I've been to places of questionable merit. I understand that. So a bit of risque stuff there, and a bit about some podcasting I've done. So pretty much everything tells a story, and there's links from there if you want to get hold of a book of mine and read. Good cure for insomnia. Not just joking.
Well, we all love stories, and I think now everybody is itching to get out there and travel as well. So maybe they can live vicariously through your travels as well in the meantime. Malcolm Teasdale, everybody. Malcolm, thanks for joining us on the show today. I really enjoyed that.
Thanks, Graham. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Enjoy Singapore. I wish I was there with you, but maybe soon. Thanks, Graham.